A reputable person in society.
I'm Molu, chairman of the population of the Democratic Change. On December 8th, one of us will leave this position. I will defeat the law. The law, if I don't defeat you, let me resign as chairman of the CDC.
Good morning from the News Current Affairs Department here at Kool 91.9 Citycom Liberia Limited. We are also live online at www.knewsonline.com. With this presentation, my name is Siaway, Miapue reporting. Scores of sedition, the CDC supporters gathered at the Coalition for Democratic Change headquarters in Congo Town to conclude their thank you rally campaign with over 1,000 seditions from the 17th electoral district in Moxorado County. Speaking at the program, the standard bearer of the CDC and President Dr. George Weah officially named Maritime Boss Eugene Nangbe as campaign manager ahead of the October 10 elections. According to the Liberian leader, the Maritime Boss have worked with him through the 6 years since his ascendancy, and therefore he believes will be the best campaign manager. Meanwhile, the president said he remains the overhead campaign manager to guard Eugene Nangbe.
Today, I present to you your campaign manager, Mr. Eugene Nangbe.
So I want to say to you, thank you. Accepting the position as campaign manager of the Liberian Maritime Boss, Eugene Nangbe encouraged supporters of the CDC to continue to work, stating that it's not yet over until the battles are cast on the 10th of October to ensure urban run victory. Maritime Boss Eugene Nangbe there speaking along. You listen to President George Weah when scores of supporters gathered at the CDC headquarters on a thank you rally where he named Eugene Nangbe as his campaign manager. NEMOT Partners for Democratic Development will support from the Swedish government has officially launched its Women Campaign Fellowship Program. Held under the theme Advancing Women's Political Participation, Representation and Leadership, the program aims to address challenges that women face during and after elections by providing comprehensive training, mentorship, and support to aspiring female politicians as well as to equip them with the necessary skills, knowledge, and confidence to navigate the political landscape effectively. It will remain in full swing from July 15 and will continue up to the 5th of October 2023. Speaking during the official launching, United Nations country representative in Liberia, Madam Comfort Lamptey stressed on the need for a more inclusive decision-making platforms, inclusive of women to be more sustainable to impact public safety of the life of everyone in the community.
Right, and it is a right, but at the same time, it's also a necessity because in our part of the world, we know that we need all hands on deck to advance our country, promote development in our country. And we know also from evidence around the world that when you have more inclusive decision-making platforms, the kinds of decisions you make are better. They are better, they are more sustainable, and they impact positively on the lives of everyone in that community. And so when we ask for broadening the table so that women can have a seat at the table and contribute their perspectives, not just because it's a right, and that right is important, but it is also because if Liberia is to advance, if Liberia is to achieve its full development potential, it needs to bring all hands on deck, and we need the voices and the perspectives of women in this space. Unfortunately, we're far from there. As we all know, we have African regional average of elected women at around 25%. We're around 15% in the West Africa region, but in Liberia, we are 10%. So actually, Liberia is both below the West Africa target as well as the Africa regional target. So we need to step up on doing more. And we have an opportunity. We have elections coming up. One of the things that also needs to be done in this work is to create an enabling and environment for women to participate in politics. It's very important. We want women to come into the space, but we also want to make sure that when women do come into the space or when they are coming into the space, the environment is conducive to embrace them.
Also speaking earlier, the program director of NEMO Partners for Democratic Development, Mrs. Peace T. Miapue, expressed that they emphasize that women's participation in government is crucial for achieving true democracy and inclusive decision-making process. Mrs. Miapue highlighted the need to break down the barriers that hinder women from actively engaging in politics and holding leadership positions. She stressed that empowering women in politics goes beyond mere representation, but an environment where women's voices are heard, their perspectives are valued, and their contributions are recognized.
We gather here to celebrate the incredible achievements, resilience, and indomitable spirit of women as we move forward to a historical time in our country. We come together to recognize the importance of empowering and uplifting women in all aspects of their lives. Liberia, like many other countries around the world, women have historically faced significant barriers and challenges in the political arena. Increasing women's participation in politics is a matter of justice and equality. Women account for a huge number of our population, and their perspectives, experiences, and priorities must be reflected in the policy and legislation that shape our nation. Denying women equal opportunities in political participation does not only perpetuate gender discrimination, but also hampers our progress towards a truly inclusive and democratic society. According to the UN Convention on the Political Rights of Women, it says that women shall be eligible for all elections to be publicly elected, established by the national law on equal terms with men, without any discrimination. Women shall be entitled to hold public offices and to exercise all public functions established by national law on equal terms with men. Although comprising roughly 50% of the population, women in Liberia continue to be severely underrepresented in politics.
She's Peace, as Mrs. Miapue there, NIDMO Partners. She's the program director for NIDMO Partners for Democratic Development in Africa. Allow you listen to Mrs. Comfort Lipte. She's there speaking recently when he launched its Women Campaign Fellowship program and was heard on the team advancing women's political participation, and representation and leadership in the program aims to address the challenges that women face during and after election by providing comprehensive training and mentorship among other. And now in more development this morning, where NIDMO Partners for Democratic Development has commenced its town hall meeting on political accountability across the country. The move, according to NIDMO, is intended to make the electorate get involved with issue-based politics. Eddie Jawodo is the executive director for NIDMO Partners for Democratic Development. He has been explaining more to K News and following his town hall meeting with several citizens in VOA1 community recently.
We are going to intensify our town hall meeting on political accountability across the country. This is a third fifth. We've done a lot in Mosuado County, Miapue, Lofa, Miapue, and Basa. We're going to start again. We're starting today. Tomorrow we'll be in the single community. We try to get people to understand our election, how to be about issues. And those issues are issues that people should vote for. And after election, we should be able to hold those elected leaders accountable. We think that Liberia is a rich country. It generally be properly managed with people who have the expertise and they know they get it well done. So when you come into election, when you come up with plan and program on how to improve issues, whether it's issue of healthcare, whether it's issue about education, whether it's issue about economy, whether it's issue about job security, it's an issue that we're going to run your campaign on. And after election, it'll be very easy. We know the latest information from the National Election Commission is that we have 20 presidential candidates. We're going to map up to get the top 3 or 4 candidates. And across the 15 countries, we're going to make sure that we have people that will track all the promises of the top 4 presidential candidates. And right after the election, we're going to make sure that we can sign our method to them. But for now, we are in the last stage of president. We are 6 years. So those promises that we have captured over the years, the 292 promises, where 24 promises were completed, 91 promises are ongoing. It's the record that we're using across the country to educate people on those things and teaching them that it's not about creating the president what he feel or not. It's basically about teaching people that President will meet his promises, and it's good that when he comes to run campaign, ask him about the state of the promises. And those who come in to run campaign also ask them what is it they're going to do for you and vote on based on the issue and the experience that they have to get the work done.
Mr. Jaolo said the initiative will also ensure that electorates elect people with a clear understanding of what their platforms are and what they can do for the people.
We're also telling them now that will be cases on the ballot paper, but beyond these cases are issues about healthcare, issues about education, and issues about human rights, issues about the rule of law, transparency, and accountability. So don't just mark any ballot paper, mark ballot paper knowing that the person you're electing will be able to handle those issues and make our country a better place to live.
Let's know, Mr. Charlo, what exactly prompted this initiative?
Around the world now, people are more pushing what they call political accountability. Political accountability that when people come to election and promise that they will do these things, it becomes a social contract. It's a contract between you and the people who voted for you. Get fair that when you come to power, the trust imposed in you that you can make it better. If Liberia going to 176 years, if we have institutions in Liberia that are doing this, by now our country are going one step forward. But for year after year, election after election, elected officials feel not accountable to the people. So we want to remind them that you are accountable to the people based on promises that you made. That's why we're doing this. It's not only in Liberia, it's happening in America, it's happening in UK, it's happening in Ghana, it's happening in many countries around the world where people are holding a leader accountable. You cannot hold your leader accountable that they are not doing nothing when you don't know what they promise to do. So that's what we're doing. We have printed a 1,000 copy of the report. We're sharing it across the country, giving it to the media institution, we're giving it to civil society, giving it to political parties to be able to know that you also will make promises and the promises will hold you accountable for them. But people are very happy that at least they have a mindset now. They know that election is about issues. So the guy will say you are Jahar sedition and the report has changed you. That is not only about George Weah, but for any other person that's going to be president of Liberia will know that they will be held accountable. People are not going to know that elections should be more about issues. And people are going to be understand that the report is well dated. It's about where the promises came from, how they were made, when they were made, what are the status of the promises, why they are completed, why they are ongoing, why they are not rated, and why we decided to do it. And people are actually impressed.
Eddie Jawodo is the executive director, NIDMO Partners for Democratic Development, there speaking. Integrity Watch Liberia, the Elections Commission and development partners have launched a program to ensure political parties compliance with the financing resolutions. The program was officially launched on Monday, July 17 at a local hotel in Monrovia. Giving an overview of the program, the executive director of Integrity Watch, Liberia, Harold Ado, stressed that political parties wanting state power must demonstrate greater degree of accountability, transparency, and good governance. According to him, the institution has been concerned about the ways most political parties are financed, and even if they are financed by any source, how those finances have been accounted for. This, he stressed, moved the institution to approach the NEC in 2022 for partnership to look at the format used by political institutions to finance their campaign activities. Mr. Ado also indicated that the project is designed to help those political institutions by means of technology to track how campaigns are financed and how occurrence of electoral bribery, among others.
We as an organization believe that political party institutions that are seeking or yearning to assume state power must be institutions that demonstrate greater degree of institutional accountability, transparency, and governance. On that note, we realize that most often in our history, we have sort of relegated looking at how political parties are financed, even when they are financed, how these finances are accounted for. So we approached the National Elections Commission some part of last year and expressed our interest in partnering with them to look at political party campaign financing and how we can strengthen political parties to make sure that they comply with statutory regulations. So that led to a formal memorandum of understanding to leverage on the use of technology to support political parties, to track how campaigns are financed, and also to look at the issue of electoral bribery and corruption. So we are here today basically to launch the Strengthening Political Party Accountability Project, which is a project that seeks to monitor or track how political parties are financed, how political parties report in compliance with the political party campaign financing regulations. Over the course of the next few months, we hope to work with the National Elections Commissions and political parties, and also some of the elections observatory groups and civil society organizations, including the media, to deploy our digital platforms or tools across the country to actually track political party campaign financing, elections bribery, and other malfeasance that are accompanied with how political parties, report and are financed and how they conduct themselves.
Also speaking, representative of political parties in attendance urged other parties to implement what is being learned in the program. They pledged their political party support to the project.
Oversight is very often overlooked. Political parties, that accountability should be one of the things that political parties think about. Not to eat what we don't put there. And most of the time, we the women, we have problems. We want to run, and there's no money. So we are asking today, what we are going to learn here is by our political parties.
I think this is important, especially from the point that integrity will be a neutral party to organize a workshop like this so that we can begin some new things in our electoral process. And this will be, we will all learn from this election, because we don't know what record we've had in the past when it comes to, but from this workshop, we think we will begin to lay the foundation, and it has to be for every political actor.
Also speaking, the international community, UNDP, USAID, reaffirmed the commitment to support the success of the project.
Oversight is very often overlooked in electoral processes, both in developing, but even more in developing countries, because the electoral management bodies usually focus on. So I'm super happy today that we can partner with Integrity Watch in Liberia. Finally, this project, because the Integrity Watch is not only expected to implement the platform to help NEC and other governments.
To what is happening here today, the launch of the accountability project around campaign finance in Sweden welcomes this. We would like to congratulate Integrity Watch Liberia and the National Elections Commission for this initiative. Campaign financing, I would agree with what my colleague from BSCID has said, is very important to the elections integrity. And it seems that Liberia has robust rules and legal framework around campaign financing, and that gap around following and monitoring is quite crucial. Liberia's regulations set up limits on how much parties can spend on elections. It also set limits on how parties can source funding for elections, who can fund parties' elections. It's very important that this is monitored. And I think all parties, all players, following the same rule is important for the elections integrity.
Now on to this development, the former legislative candidate in District 6 Massawa County is appealing to citizens to deliver Painesville to the re-election of President George Weah on October 10 of this year. Samuel Jacobs, speaking in Sandtown over the weekend, described President Weah as the most experienced presidential aspirant in the pending general elections, so this placed him at a better position. He argued that the new opposition political leader, Joseph Boakai, lacks leadership vision on grounds that under the 12 years reign of his former ruling Unity Party, he can boast of anything, and adding noted is unfortunate.
The people raise a point 3 things. I told somebody, people say experience. For the election, President Weah is the more experienced president. I told you here today. You have to say you believe in my ability and selling. To be experienced on something, you must sell that something before. For everybody who contesting, if President Ellen were in a race, then she and Weah are the two experienced. When it comes to presidential position, only President Weah have tested it for 6 good years. To be experienced in something, you must work in that thing. And to the meeting, the same thing I told Brother Washington in our teacher meeting, I say in here. Somebody argue on leadership and experience. I said leadership will not be a factor. If that leadership, the JMB people don't have good leadership, they say why? I said there are 7 pillars in leadership. The 4th pillar is what we call vision. To have vision, why you think today I can come in and pay 100% school fee? That vision. Why today I'm the owner of Morningstar Nursing School? Everybody know Morningstar Nursing School for me. That vision. Everybody know Baba with technical college for me. That vision, right? That's it for me. So the question is, if the man who has served as vice president for 12 years, we are playing football in hard Kings FA, in hard GM professional, that vision. And I told somebody we need 2 black vision, I resign. Nobody cannot give him vision. But you say when the man take power, there'll be a vision. Let me warn you something. If you don't know what it takes to taste power and move from power and come back to power, they will not argue on JMB. All that people you see pushing JMB, they only want to come back to power. All the things they lost, they want to reap it back. And that's the labor peace with the President we are. And tell what the peace with the Teacher Association I agree, your center I agree, Kawa Mission, everybody people agree. If I can withdraw, believe me, it will tell you that we got bigger things to change this country. I'm not doing all that grief. Yesterday we saw Chevrolet crying. We saw the women, female militant group of Jacob crying. I saw Agogo cry and said, Jacob, you kill me. And I said to Agogo, believe me, President Wheeler will give us a new generation. I know that women work in the system, that women work as a representative and have more impact for what I'm doing. But if we believe in President Wheeler, even in my absence, you always still have a very good government moving forward.
Speaking further, Jacobs told the gathering that if the unprecedented developmental initiative under the regime of this government were to stop them people in Painesville should re-elect the Weah until administration, he at the same time acknowledged the challenges Liberians have faced when it comes to the change rates, but attributed the rates to the too many importations of several commercial products into the country. A situation he showed the market women of the ELWA that the national government is working to ensure that the exchange rate gets back on path.
The other man actually I told I say ELA Johnson market, I see the role facing, they get something they call transfer of government reviewing governance. Right? When the next president comes to power, he will not just start doing this rule. He will call for he will review where all the old government start, that where he want to start from. I told them you're prepared for all the start the road project for 6-month review. All they said no. So in short, to continue on our reform path, I know the challenge of who. The challenge in this country, somebody said, all the URA economics. I told you basic economics. Basic economics we imported too many things and then the government trying to work on them and then we look for money to power and the global economy is going on in the country. Nobody should fool you. Everybody work, nobody can give you the kind of job of young people having government. If you check in the government, they got a more progressive young people. I have not come here to convince you because I already spoke to you 2 times. I've only come here to close and tell you because the leadership of Friends of Samuel B. Jacob here see how they needed me to clarify why more important to not run. And I told them the thing that more important to me is for the president we are to be re-elected for 2023. That president we are in his last 6 years, let we start a new generation. I will declare my student to CDC. For one thing, let's make a dream work. Now the conversation, the master, the reason I'm trying to have the program in every community, because there are too many misinformation about government. 3 misinformation. Because if I try to name the president project here, we are already doing the because of time. The reason why for you, I'm not going to talk plenty here, I'm going to convene anybody, because I've already had 3 meetings with you guys. So technically, all of you is, I can see the barrel going on around. All of you are resolved to elect president we have for 2023. So all of you are agreed, and every time to all administrators for school have agreed.
A former legislative aspirant in District 6 Mosuala County, now loyal supporter of President George Weah, Samuel Jacobs, there speaking, giving reasons why his supporters should still believe he is ideology despite he relinquishing the post to contest as a representative in the district. Let's now go to our comment section. More people joining this morning. Nelson Roberts Jones says, good morning, King News. I'm watching live from Capitol Hill. Jimmy Riches also joined this morning. He said, good morning, King News. I'm watching from Myers de Cobo area. Likewise, Marcos Vargas Jones says, good morning, King News. I'm watching you from Kirisburg City View, Junction, District 1, Mosuala County. Thanks for the information. All of you, thanks for joining. Those of you joining us, you can also share a live video and invite others to be a part. Let's now go straight to Miapue County quickly with a visit there where District 5 representative that says the Nino Sound drug law will now be set as the protection for many young people who have to pay for illicit drugs in the country. Speaking to cross section of young people in the district, Representative Clarence Guy noted that the former manner the drugs is treating people he refers to as a future generation is unhealthy for the country, thereby calling for a corrective effort and a fight against harmful substances.
The drug law is the protection of the future. Many of our young people have been destroyed by drugs. It's completely pitiful. Most especially of the recent drugs we have been hearing called when they take Kool, they walk the zombie. There's no pathetic. If we don't take stronger measures, a few years to come, our entire society will be destroyed. Drugs is not something easily find. Even in the great United States, if you go to Kingston in Pennsylvania, they name it the zombie city. You see a lot of people go on YouTube. Even the great United States is battling to fight drugs. What's not about Kool This is not just about politics. It's not about who in government, who's not in government. This is about a collective work as a society to fight drugs. Let us not share responsibility to one person. Child or your children could be affected. My children could be affected. Someone else's child could be affected. Some people have a greater future, but who knows, it could be destroyed by peer pressure. It could be destroyed by uncontrollable parental care. Again, many of our fathers goes to labor while our mothers go to sell. The children remain vulnerable. So if possible, they are exposed to taking in drugs. We are saying to you, the measures that we have taken as legislators and the president in the interest of the city, there is not now only lawmaker work or only the president work. It is the entire city. Now you are aware that you have a non-billable law. Everywhere you notice that drugs are being sold in the community is to notify. There's a whistleblower act that protects the right of whistleblower. You have to notify. And again, let us use the media as a means to channel that drugs not good.
He at the same time called on the opposition in the district to be more constructive in their criticism. He believed that when this is done, it will help to develop the district.
October is here. October is here. I don't talk much, not that I'm weak. My strength is in my silence. As a leader, listen much and talk less. Again, this is district number 5. I can assure you today, come October, we are going to be team and we'll be representing each of people of district number 5. One of the veteran committee in the legislature and around the world, not just Liberia, around the world. If not the biggest committee, one of the if we name great legislators who are making great impact in the Alberta constituencies or counties, these legislators make this impact not in their first term. Most of the great impacts are made in the second term. Again, the first term, the legislature, I don't care, you can have a doctorate degree. It's learning. You have to get adjusted to the working environment. Even every job you take on, they have period of orientation. At the legislature, there's no period of orientation. You need to work with experienced people to link you, to carry you through. That process is where you connect, build your foundation. The second term, you are not going to be new president. You know where to knock and doors open. You know where to knock and what will come out for the benefit of the people. All those lawmakers who are making great impact, watch their first 6 years into the legislature and watch their second 6 years and their third year. You will notice most of the great leaders in this country make their impact. Let me just give you a typical example. The speaker today is the third time. The first term, second term, it was in the third term we want to make a breakthrough that people are enjoying today. I know other people argue that you are not enjoying, but in politics, you make your maximum contribution.
The Civil Law Court has issued a writ of summons on the management of Spoon TV and FM Communication Network for contempt of court. According to the writ, they are to appear before the court on July 18 at 12 noon to explain reasons why they should not be held in contempt for allegedly assaulting and insulting court officers who were carrying out orders of the court over the weekend. On July 14, officers of the court were sent to close the institution following a complaint filed, but in their returns noted that the staffers at the institution had prevented them from doing their job. The chairman of the governing council of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction has called on the people of Nimba County not to be fooled for the second time during the October 10 presidential and legislative elections. Nimba County Senator Prince Johnson said the Coalition for Democratic Change has embarked on the distribution of vehicles, bikes, and millions of cash purchasing vehicles for campaign while the ordinary citizens are living in abject poverty. Delivering a sermon at the Christ Chapel of Faith in Painesville, Senator Johnson said voting for President George Weah and Joe Howard is a preparation for what he called a replica of another Lutheran church massacre.
Nimba people, take message for you. Voting this government, it means voting Joanna to be victim who attacked the church. A woman who attacked the house of God, to kill the pastor that what happened in the Lutheran church, to repeat history. Electing her boss is like electing her to continue her atrocious activities. That's why we need a rescue team. The rescue team are responsible people. Responsible people. You need to change this nation. You need to rescue it from Representative Grady. You take a when you move in the first couple. I mean, to just bust the people, destroy our students. We will go to our home and have an election to be in Nimba. After we move into Nimba, where we will vote, we will release the results. But God is looking up to you. That's why I started by telling the people in Nimba, thank you. When Nimba speaks, they have spoken. Go labels, and you see, giving money to go, the brother to go talk all kind of things about us. We want to build our country. We want to build our nation. We cannot build a nation when the unemployment rate is so high. 6 years, no job. You cannot build a nation with drugs taking over the whole country. You cannot build a nation with insecurity. When you go to a police station, they tell you no vehicle.
Meanwhile, Senator Johnson has strongly criticized the government for failing to equip the Liberian National Police, the Liberian Immigration Service, and other institutions, despite the huge allotment by the National Legislature. According to him, President Weah has gone the extra mile by withdrawing a huge sum of money from the the Social Security and Welfare Corporation to fund his campaign, resulting in a lack of pension for retired civil servants.
Liberians, when our people don't have textbooks, they don't have computer lab, they don't have laboratory, they ain't got good desks. When the things are all leaking, you giving them new pickup, new box, and say you're wrong. Now the wrong thing I'm talking, you want to handle, you will fail. You got $1 million that poor people in my reap by the mountain. You take all our money, not development money. The senator is saying you're wrong. Get our money back. You're eating our money. If for all, enough for you. You took away our concern, our approval. We say you TT our money. You say, man, first, our salary, you will fail. When immigration get no car, nothing. When you have a matter, you go to police station, you report it, you have been transport from nowhere, no car. But you're only interested in election to send 100 vehicles. The people's life, it depends on how much they are secure. When those responsible for security cannot move from place to place, when your personal gain, you can buy 100 vehicles. And those who speak in favor of the truth, and you think you can silence them through your strategies, you will fail.
Is Nema County's Senator Prince Yami Johnson there speaking. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Key News. It is a 45 minutes of news, bringing you the actual voices of the newsmaker. We are also live online at www.keynewsonline.com. You can also follow us via our live Facebook feed this morning, and you're going to see exactly our developments we're following, with several individuals following this morning. Jeremiah Wicker Jones this morning. John Dennis Jones was as and watching from the Police Academy area, and many others. So join us, you can share our live feeds and invite others to be a part. And briefly away from Liberia to end this newscast, to several heads of state and activists have reiterated the need to protect the gender equity gains made so far globally at the opening of the Women Delivery Conference in Rwanda. The summit is considered one of the world's biggest on gender equity and is being held for the first time in Africa. Speaking at the conference, President Paul Kagame said political pushback against women's equality means that they still suffer the most when it comes to global crises like climate change. He says women's rights activist and president of Women Deliver, Dr. Maliha Khan, urged activists and government to double down on efforts and work together to face enormous hellways against gender equity. And 13 people have been killed in a traffic accident north of Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. Among them was a mother and her 4 children, the youngest of whom was just a year old. Police have told the BBC the road conditions were said to be poor. The accident happened when a heavy truck carrying fertilizer smashed into a van after hitting 2 other vehicles, according to Dajim area inspector in the area. So that does it for Key News at 6. Production of the News Current Affairs Department here at Kool 91.9. For more news, join us this afternoon at 2. I wish to bring you Key News in brief. Emmanuel Tour, Hedron Butterfoy, and Tifila Score Sat, control the camera and our sound respectively. On behalf of the entire news crew, my name is Siaway, Miapue. Good morning from Liberia.